Joining us on the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line is the only head coach in the American Football Conference Southern Division that has a win. The Jacksonville Jaguars, fresh off of their shutout dub at home against the Indianapolis Colts. His first win as head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars is our friend on the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line, Doug Pederson. How are you, Coach?
Rich, I'm good. Hey, I'll tell you something. That dialogue sounds like a sideline on game day.
Yeah, you think so?
Well, yeah, a lot of dialogue back and forth, and ultimately you got your coffee, and ultimately we get to play in, and we get a win, and all things are good.
Okay. Are you a coffee guy, Doug? Do you?
Yes, sir. I'm anywhere from a 2 to a 3 cup guy every day.
Oh,
every day.
Wow. Okay, so now do you space it out so you get that jolt, or are you just going to just slam it all down and then just walk around bouncing off the walls?
I'll do 2 in the morning early when I first get here as I'm waking up, and then I'll do one more later in the afternoon.
Okay. And what are we? Are we just a straight up highly caffeinated?
Straight up. I just black Keurig coffee maker here in my office.
Okay.
Just a straight. I don't put anything in it.
No, nothing? Just straight up?
Black.
Wow.
Straight up.
No half and half? No, nothing?
No, I never could get into it. It's a little too sweet even though I like sweets, coffee's a little too sweet if I did that.
Okay, Doug Pederson, mark it down. I mean, I guess, being a head coach in the NFL, are there any coaches in the NFL who don't drink coffee? Doug Pederson.
That's a great question. I don't know. I think most of them probably drink at least a cup a day.
Okay. Have you ever come across anybody like that?
Tea. No, I have not.
What about Reed? What about Andy?
You know what, Coach Reed? Coach Reed is not a coffee drinker.
Get out of here.
Yeah, Coach Reed did not drink coffee. Yeah.
Just red meat?
Think about it.
Just red meat? That's his caffeine? He gets his caffeine from the
red meat. And, back in the day, it used to be Diet Coke. I'm not sure what he's on to now.
All right. How is Victory Monday? Do you have one of those in Jacksonville? What do you have?
No. I mean, it was a Victory Monday, but we worked. We brought the guys in, and Rich, this is the thing too with this team. We're such a young football team, and we're still kind of learning and teaching and just showing them how to win. That's a big step for us. Even this next week, going against the Chargers, and great opponent out there, but just learning how to win and how to handle that. But yeah, we worked on Monday. Players were off Tuesday, and then we're back on the practice field today.
Well, I saw you had your press conference. I saw a phrase here that I'd never heard of before, so I like this. You're preaching a mentality called "so what, now what." What is that, Doug? What is that?
It just tells you that it doesn't matter what happens, win, lose, or draw. It's the so what, right? It's just how you move forward. It's the now what. What are we going to do with it? And we lost in week 1 to Washington, and that was kind of our so what. And then we came back the next week and we practiced. We worked on some things, got better, and we won the football game. And that's your now what. So it's just a mentality of you just got to put things behind you. You learn from it, move on, correct it, and just focus on that 1-0 mentality each week.
Where'd you pick that one up, Doug? Did you make that one up? Is that off your dome?
I wish I could take credit for that one, but no. That one's been bouncing around a while. I have a friend of mine, Dr. Kevin Elko, who is he worked with me in Philadelphia, and he's working with our team here in Jacksonville, and just the sort of the positive mental thinking and how to message, the team, and he helps me with a lot of different things. And it was a phrase that he actually approached me with when I was actually in Philadelphia, and I've carried it. It just means so much, and it's just a little phrase, but it carries a lot of weight.
Well, let me turn to the how and why then, Doug Pederson, with your quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. He just looks different, I'll be honest. And it could be just first year to second year, and obviously what happened with your predecessor there last year, and him or whatever didn't happen there. What are you seeing? What are you seeing in the first 2 games? You're like, okay, this is what I've been talking to him about. This is what I've been preaching to him about.
Yeah, I think there is a jump, obviously, from year 1 to year 2, regardless of the scheme or the system that you're in. And we've seen that. For him playing, every game last year was a benefit, obviously, to get a feel for the NFL and how the NFL operates and game speed and all that. And now it's for us as a staff too, is just surrounding him with a lot of positive guys, obviously, coaching him, teaching him. He's like a sponge out there. He wants to learn, and nothing's perfect by any means. It's still a work in progress, but he's playing within himself, and he's relying on the guys around him. And you're seeing that with Christian Kirk and the two running backs and, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, guys like that, trusting the defense, playing smart football. And those are all things that obviously I learned as a head coach dealing with the young Carson Wentz, and now being able to sort of channel that teaching with Trevor.
So can you give me an example of the sponge where you said something and he took it in and then you put it out there on the field? Is there something that you could just throw out there? So
there's
folks can know?
Obviously just even in this past game, we see things as a staff, during the course of a game, and you're making adjustments in game all the time, and we were able to do a couple of little things based on some of the coverages that the Colts were presenting, and he was able to just absorb it, take it back out the next drive, and actually, use that, to our advantage and execute a simple pass play, but we had to make a quick adjustment on the sideline and get it done, and he was able to do that, and that's the type of stuff that he just wants to learn and get better every day. He's got a great group of receivers that he's working with. Love the way they practice every week, and just one day at a time mentality.
So Christian Kirk as well. What a great game he had with a couple of scores. And obviously you've coached before in the Northeast, and Northern Florida's got obviously a different vibe to it. But he got paid. He got paid a lot of money, and there might be some pressure that comes with that. What have you seen from him on that front for him to come up with a game like that at home in his home opener, and what that means for you and your team, Doug Pederson?
Yeah, that's the type of person and player that we know Christian to be, and I'll tell you this, having now worked with him just briefly, for him it's not about necessarily the money. It's just about playing football and getting better. And, he's such a great – he was top on our list, in the offseason. He was a guy that we targeted in the free agent market, and we were able to get him. And, listen, we had resources to spend too. So, we're not going to make an excuse of that either. But he's just exactly what we expected and more. And, what he has shown the off season through training camp and these first two football games is exactly what we'd expected. And he and Trevor are on a good relationship, good page out on the football field. They talk a lot with all the receivers, but just a hard guy to defend, and just knows how to play the game of football. Really has a great head on his shoulders. And then
this is a question I've always wanted to ask. And I have an opportunity here, even though I think I know the answer. You had a 15-play opening drive, and it was 9 minutes, 11 seconds long. I don't know if you're aware, it was the longest drive that your franchise has had since 2019. You hear a lot about first 15 scripted. Did you go? Was that all scripted? Was that because it's 15 right on the head?
Wasn't, yeah. We had a couple third downs, so you get to your third down menu. But most of those plays did come off of the openers.
How about that?
That you do script, because that's normally first and second down thoughts, and then you go to your third down thought. We had a 4th and 3 in there we overcame and got that, and then obviously the third and I believe it was 4 or 5 there in the red zone for the touchdown. So it was just listen, it's just a matter of communication and execution, and you practice these things in practice. You try to put your team in positions to be successful, and give the guys the credit. They went out and executed and scored on that opening drive.
And then Doug Pederson here on the Rich Eisen Show, your defense, man. I mean, Josh Allen with a couple of sacks, your first-round selection outside of, obviously, your first overall pick. Devin Lloyd, I mean, he's got 17 tackles this season. That leads your team. What are you seeing out of your defense that you like? Clearly, you liked a lot with them and giving up 0 points. But what do you think here, Doug?
Yeah, you definitely like a lot of things about that group. I think first of all, it starts up front with that edge, those edge rushers and those interior guys. I mean, that's kind of the strength of the defense, obviously. But you're seeing great communication with these guys. You're seeing just relentless pursuit to the ball. We learned from week one. We got a little undisciplined in our run fits in the first week, and they came back and fixed it and did a great job against a really fine running back and a running game, last week. And then those two guys on the edge are just special players, and Trayvon is just it's everything that we thought and everything that we saw on tape when we were, looking at him coming out of Georgia. And of course we knew the type of player that Josh is. And, it's a great kind of 1-2 tandem, and again, the guys they're just playing loose, and playing within themselves. Mike Caldwell's doing a great job of, scheming for them, and particularly on third down where they can just use their strength and get after the passer.
Doug Pederson here on the Rich Eisen Show. A few more minutes left with the first place head coach of the first place Jacksonville Jaguars through 2 weeks. Let's get to the what now. You're coming out here. You're coming out here to Southern California. Which quarterback do you think you're going to see? What do you think for the Chargers? What do you think?
Well, I've had this injury before.
Yes, I bet.
And it's obviously it's not a fun one to have, especially as a thrower. But it can be a little tender. But I know this, and Justin's the type of kid that's going to want to play, and we fully expect him to play. And it's just a credit to him, to get himself in position to do that and get his health right. And so that's what we've got to go in and expect that he's going to play. And obviously, Chase is very capable backup. I've worked with Chase in my past in Kansas City and Philadelphia, and he's a very capable backup that can come in and win a game for him as well. So, that's our plan. Coming in, we got to expect for Justin to play, and we got to get ready for him because he can beat you through the air. He can beat you with his legs, and he's got some talented weapons around him. But the other thing too is he's got a tremendous defense, and that's one of the things that he does well is he relies on that defense to make stops and create more turnovers for the offense.
Well, if there's anybody at all on your defense, right, that thinks, well, he can't do it with that injury, right? He can't make the throws with that injury. How about that sequence? I'm sure you saw it on Thursday night where he turns down running for the first down because I imagine he doesn't want to get hit. He doesn't want to slide. He doesn't want to go down on the ground himself, right? He just dirts the ball. And then that 40-yard frozen rope was ridiculous, Doug. That was unbelievable that he did that.
It just goes to show you the type of kid he is,
right,
and how bad he wants to win, and he's a competitor, and that's why we expect him to play just because of that right there, and he's young, and I mean he's a leader of that team, and nobody wants to miss a game, and especially him.
All right, and then you know where you're going next, so you know where I'm going next.
Yes, I do.
What's going to go through your head? I imagine we won't be talking again, certainly before Week 4, your visit back to Philadelphia. What do you think your reception is going to be when you walk in that building, Doug Pederson?
Well, yeah, I'd hope I get booed. That'd make me feel welcome. I get booed a little bit, feel right back at home.
Okay.
Get that out of the way early. But now, honestly, I think it'll be a great reception. Coming back there, I'm looking forward to that one. Obviously, we got a game in between, but it's a place where we won a championship and the first one in Eagles history. So means a lot. It's a special time and special place, obviously, for that. And looking forward to going back up there and then hopefully I get a little mixed reaction.
Yeah, and I know it's not your team, and you do have, as you mentioned, another game beforehand. But I do want to ask you what Jalen Hurts looks like. I imagine you did see some of that on Monday night, part of that doubleheader, nationally televised, and what he has turned into there in Philadelphia, and your thoughts on that process since you were in that draft room when he got drafted by Philadelphia.
Yeah. It's everything that we expected him to be and become. And I'll tell you this: when you get to know Jalen, he's a hard worker. This kid wants to be great, and he makes no excuses about that, and he wants to be the best player in the NFL, and he's showing that, and obviously the performance the other night, he did just that, and go back to Alabama. He won at Alabama. He won at Oklahoma, and he's now winning in Philadelphia as the second year starter. New system last year, but he started last year, and I just think the world of him and what he's doing, and great kid. He's very humble, but tough competitor, and he's doing the things that I think we all saw when we drafted him.
Well, it's a heck of a Week 4 game. I look forward to that, and I look forward to seeing what you do here in Southern California this week. And my last one for you is, that respite in between Philadelphia and Jacksonville. I'm sure you thought a lot about, the game and coaching and getting another shot, and now you did. What's it been like the last 2 weeks? The juice is flowing. You're out there. It's the NFL. You're winning a football game like you did this past week. Is it?
Yeah, it's great. And that's what I told our team in Jacksonville here back in the spring. The reason I, got back into football and was for the guys, to be around the guys. You miss the locker room. You miss that camaraderie with the players, and to show that and to see that, emotion Sunday on the faces of these guys. And listen, this team, they historically they've not won. I mean, that's out there. And, for them to do it in the fashion that they did it, my hat's off to our players and our team for hanging together and battling through a lot of adversity over a long period of time. But and listen, it's a young season. We understand that, but at the same time, we want to enjoy, every moment that we can in this league, because you never know when it's going to be your last.
No doubt. Doug Pederson, thanks for the time. What's on the ice cream menu for this weekend? Do we know yet? What do we got?
Man, I tell you, Haagen-Dazs vanilla, straight up.
You haven't changed? That's it? That's it?
No, vanilla. That's it. I won't change it. No.
Is that just a palate thing, or is that a superstitious thing? What is that?
No, it's just a palate thing. I just love just straight vanilla ice cream. My wife tells me all the time, she goes, "Why don't you like Mercedes or BMWs or ice cream? It's ice cream."
I understand. What if Trevor Lawrence says, "How about we switch it up?" What do you do? What do you do?
No, it's a no. Sorry, there's some things don't change, and that's one of them.
No, there's a line that you won't cross, and I respect it.
Exactly right.
Doug, thanks for the time. Right. Always cherish it. Thanks, greatly appreciate it.
Rich.
You got it. Let's do it again soon. Yep. That's Doug Pederson, head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Sorry, not changing the ice cream.